Nat.
Yes, sir.
Kunjani baba?
I'm good, man. Otherwise?
Number one.
Yes, man.
Ugcina ukuringa nje ngokusekasi Mr International.
Isizulu ngisasazi.
Isithakazelo sona.
Hayi ngisazikhumbulini leyo.
Hey. Kunyamalele konke. Kambe konke. That bad, hey.
Yeah. You try to find a little space to remember who you are, and then there's another trip. You know,
takes you to another time zone.
Then you're in China.
Yeah.
China, it is what it is.
Welcome back to the country, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And thank you for the honor, and thank you for making time.
Thank you, my brother.
Josie, 10 missed calls.
Yeah.
We did speak a bit about this album, but I think there are some developments.
Yeah, this is a very special album. One of the reasons it's special is because it's so different, and different things are usually frowned upon. You know, not just music, anything different, anything that they don't recognize, they will first,
reject.
Yeah, so it was one of those for me, and I had to be very resilient about my goal and my whole plan with it. You know, there was a big intention when I was working on it, and having spent so many years as an artist in this country, I know the patterns. I know how we consume music as locals. I know how a song will come and it will blow everyone away.
Yeah.
And then in 2 months, they're like, okay, sharp.
Yeah,
we're
enough.
done.
Enough.
You know, and I've seen how the world consume music.
Yes.
You know, for instance, I was in Vegas last week for the Grammys.
Yeah.
When you drive on the street, Boyz II Men is doing shows.
Sure.
Yeah, they have a night in Vegas. In South Africa, Boyz II Men is dead. You know, so music lasts in other parts of the world, and it doesn't just last as classics; it lasts as music.
Yes,
you know. So I have to, unfortunately, understand that and be like, South Africans won't get what I'm doing, but I'm trying to create music that will last a little bit longer.
Yeah,
you know, like there's been so many beautiful songs in this country, but we're very quick to move on to the next one.
To the next hit.
Yeah. So I was very intentional about creating this thing where I'm like, it's not just for my people, you know. And when I create albums anyway, I don't expect you to love all of the songs.
Yeah.
You know, if you like number one only, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I've captured you.
As long as there's a song that
as long as you go to the album and press play on one song.
Yeah.
And so it's that kind of an album where like pick one, run with it.
But you've always been very intentional from the beginning.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that a bit, because sometimes when you reach the hill and you raise the trophy, in this case the Grammy, little do we then look at what led to that. And we sometimes feel like, uKhofi, it's a given.
Yeah.
Only if you pause and ask him the question.
Yeah. Then you get the
story.
Yes.
Why? Why were you intentional? And what is it that you did?
First of all, we're so far from getting into the hill. You know, I think maybe our fourth generation from where we are now will get there. You know, we are generations behind. You know, and there's very few people who have the right mindset, and it starts with intention, like you're saying, which is the most important thing in life. Like anything that you want to work without intention, you can't just get by. You know, even in school, you know, in a class, you can't just be like, ngizobona. You have to be intentional about getting the grades you want.
Yes.
You know, so there's a lot of work every time I get to that thing that the other people call the hill and the pinnacle, I know that, only my great kids will get to the pinnacle.
Okay.
So all I'm doing is like just digging for them. And when I'm saying my grandchildren, I don't mean mine alone.
Yeah.
Only them will
the
be
generations.
Like
after.
Now, we've made it.
So you're basically saying here's a formula.
Yeah. And it needs to be documented. I think I'm at that space right now where just last week I was talking to a friend and I'm like, I wanna, with help of my industry people, create a manual, like a module where up and coming artists can go and find all the information.
Yes.
Like if you make songs in your studio at home, what's the next step?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this thing is it's accessible.
Yeah.
At least and we're all different. We're all not gonna pop at the same time.
Sure.
But at least the first step is the song must be right, and the intention is right.
Sure.
And this is the next step, and because like I said before, we are generations behind, and what we're doing, there's no blueprint for it. What you are doing on radio, what the artists of this country are doing, we're starting to really witness like local celebrities, like for real.
Yeah.
Which is why there's so much negativity towards them, because it's a foreign thing.
It's new.
If you watch on Twitter and how these celebrities are treated, people are like struggling to still get the hang of it, because you actually
if
look
it's
like
new, we reject it.
You look like Tabo, my neighbor, man.
Yeah.
What's your name? You're like, no, I'm DJ so and so. But they can't shake the fact that you look like the guy from next door.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. That's a fact. And you walk into a room, they just like, this guy looks like. And you cannot shake that. And then the treatment will be exactly that.
Like that.
So over time, we're going to get to a place where we understand who we are as people, and we're comfortable to embrace, the artists who are kind of like different people, different kind of work. And so it's all going to take time.
It will. Now, let's go back to intention a bit. You are intentional about not sleeping while you're still at DUT.
Yeah.
Breaking into the studio to steal away time.
I don't know if that's still a good story.
It's still a very good story, because you were intentional about that.
Yeah.
So you practiced and practiced and practiced to make music.
Yeah.
You were intentional about making sure that you etch your name in history by putting not only a set, but putting also your health at risk at Maponya Mall for the longest set, so that you can break into the Guinness Book of Records.
Yeah.
You were intentional about breaking your bank to solicit a PR company that can make sure that you're a global star.
Yeah.
You were intentional. To some, that's a lot. So basically, you paid your way through it.
Yeah. There's a little voice inside of all of us, and not everyone is ready for it. So most of the people ignore it, and also our own insecurities, and when we ask people around us, like, what do you think? And then they're like, and then you're like, actually, who do I think?
Who do I think I am? Yeah.
Especially us as black people, remember our history. We were all moved in to forum houses, all of us. So we were all equal. It doesn't matter how you think of yourself, how confident you are, but we were all the same. And slowly, people started working, and in different ways. And that's where that pull-down syndrome comes from.
Yeah.
Like, hi, man.
Why you want to break away from this?
Why does my neighbor has a nicer gate? than me.
Yeah.
You know, why are there kids graduating? But, you know, and it creates just an energy in our people.
Which is envy.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be
and
good.
that's where we come from, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, so we have elders that experience that more. And they are so more negative, and they're not exposed to most of the things that we want to do. Like, so my grandmother, for instance, never understood why, like, you know, why busy on a potsoi. You know, hey, was on Pambanis.
Yeah.
You know, like, fortunately, my mother, not because she also had an insight. I think for her it was like, I'm gonna support my child. Full stop.
Done.
It wasn't beyond.
God bless mothers,
I can see you are a star. No, she was like, I'm just gonna support you.
Yeah.
And so there was those two people where if I listened more to my grandmother,
you would have paused.
Yeah, like now I'm gonna try. Like I'm the first in the family to talk music.
Yeah.
You know, and even with cousins when everyone was going to tertiary. And everyone's like, I'm studying this. Some of my cousins went for account. They wanted to be CAs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, music. They're like, what are you going to do with music? I also didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love this thing.
Yeah.
And my mother was just here. Like, my mother used to come to school. Like, she was like staff at school.
Yeah.
They knew her. Like, all the lecturers knew her. Like, she would just rock up anytime. You know, she was that supportive, which was like a fortunate thing for me.
Oh, yeah.
So what we lack as a country is that kind of support. I find like so many kids reaching out to me. They're like, my parents don't want me to do this thing. You know, just respond to my message so I can show them.
Yeah.
You know, you encouraging me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's such an important thing. As foreign as many things are, as foreign as some things are to other people, if there's a voice that says to your kid,
inside of you,
chase this thing. All we can do as parents is
support.
That's it. You know, and so when I speak to my mother about things that I do now, and it's the funniest thing ever, like growing up, like in my profession, there's certain targets that I wanted, you know, as a DJ, I'm like, you know, if I can start charging this much. And so I wait, and I work, and then the agency's like, oh, you got a gig, and this is the amount they offered you. I'm like, wow, this is the first time, this is a big amount. So I'm like,
Ma.
She's like, wait, what do you mean?
Yes.
You know, and so she has a term where she calls it Imali Asema Filimin. And there's something so powerful about that.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it really is. So that means it's unreal.
Yeah.
Meaning if she was negative and she said to me, this is unreal, what are you doing? I would have been afraid too and be like, yeah, no.
This is your mom, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't. So that voice needs to be supported. You know, that's why they say you must choose your friends wisely.
Oh.
You know, like, I want to do this thing. But I now, put your pooper, man, bitch. Like, your things,
Yeah.
But if you are with the right friends, they're like, damn, that is nice, man. I actually know a guy.
Yeah.
Then you're with the right crew, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we need as a country now. We need to be those friends that are like willing to support and be that voice.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. Can I put myself in that story?
Yes, sir.
Like me hearing you play for the first time.
Yeah, in Bloemfontein.
No.
Okay.
This is at my party with Ganyan, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Because Bloemfontein came after that.
No, yeah.
And you played these remixes that you've made. And I remember coming to you on the set. I said, dude,
what's going on?
What's going on? What are you doing with this music?
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to release it. I said, so why don't you?
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know. How?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, let's do it then.
Yeah.
That's how
That's the beginning.
The beginning.
First seed planted.
Right there.
Glimpse of light. I'm like, Tbose just said this to me.
Yeah. And I said to you, there's only one guy who can make this project work. That's Oskido.
Yep.
And then we phoned Oskido immediately. Oskido said, Mletela.
Yep.
Today, me and Oskido can claim a Grammy.
Yeah. It's your Grammy.
Thank you.
It's your Grammy.
I'm not the only one who wants to claim it. Listen.
Black Coffee, this is Tebe Ikalafeng. Congratulations, my brother, for winning that Grammy. Yet again, raising the standard of African music, of South African talent, and showcasing what we do so effortlessly and what you do for us so beautifully every time. I tell you, to me, Black Coffee and Grammy, that's a standard of excellence.
Oh man, house music is a spiritual thing. X with Black Coffee. And I'm falling. Subconsciously. Grammy Award winning album. Oh yeah. Who's X?
X is an artist from LA who I truly respect. And I have this playlist on my phone. And I used to listen to one of his songs on my playlist, and I was like, I would like to work with this guy one day, you know. And fast forward, we managed to, you know, get hold of him, and we made it happen. It took a long time.
Sure.
Because he's also a producer, so
yeah,
you know, we were agreeing to disagree on a lot of things. Actually, it was very tough.
Yeah.
Because there's something about rhythm that we hear differently.
Yeah.
And so every time I thought the song was done and I would send it to him, he'll come back and be like, no, this song is off.
Yo.
Yeah, he's like, it's off. I can't hear it right. It's off. You have to shift the drum. And I will listen to it. I work on it. I send it back to him and I think it's fine. And I play it out and then send it to him. He's like, no, it's off. And I realized it's the African rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he will not be able to understand it.
Yeah.
And then we had to insist.
Yes.
I'm like, man, this is it.
Yeah.
And with reluctance, he was like, okay, if you say it's right, I personally think it's off. So even now he thinks it's off.
Yeah. Even with the Grammy.
Even now, I'm like, man, listen.
I'm sure with the Grammy, he's like, okay. All right, now I need to learn a thing or two. All right? Hit it.
Hello, everyone. This is Black Coffee, fresh from the Grammys. And I'm sipping the best tea in the city. Kaya 959.
Mashiman, Zikode. This is Saki Matozoma. We are so proud of you. In fact, that is an understatement. We know how hard you have worked. You are an embodiment of what the American poet Ralph Waldo Emerson said. We may all be in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. You have proven this. We know how hard it has been in the last 2 years, but you did not sit down to wait for delivery as we do in South Africa. You worked hard. You kept the faith. You kept faithful to your calling, and the reward is well-deserved. The difference you make in people's lives is immeasurable. And from this point onwards, as you said in your acceptance speech, you must go and fetch many more of these awards. May the future be brighter.
Wow. 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 Please play some music.
I shall.
No, I'm out of words.
Take your people with you. That's what you say.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the power of networks. You did touch on it a bit.
Yeah.
Says it's important to know who you're surrounded by.
It's one of the most important things, especially looking at how we are trying to build and rebuild ourselves and how we're starting from the beginning and how important to collaborate and work with other people.
Yeah.
And I don't want to link the networking part to Khumalo's, Machozoma's
Yes.
message. Like, his family, when he speaks about the last 2 years that's been tough, it's because he knows firsthand.
Sure.
I often say to him, and some of his friends who are older, who I look up to and they advise me.
Yeah.
I see them as a board. Black Coffee is a corporation.
Yes.
And I cannot run a corporation as Unati.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I need.
It's like trying to run Apple as Steve Jobs alone.
Yeah. So I need like board members, and yes, sometimes I may be stubborn with some of the things I want to do, but I always bounce ideas off them. I'm like, what do you think of this? And I take advice, and networking is just not about just getting people's business cards. You have to be a nice human being to network.
Oh, yeah.
Genuinely, because human beings gravitate towards energy. That's how it is. And it will show if you're a guy who's just walking in to get everyone's business cards.
It does
and
show.
Eventually it's going to show.
Because you're just collecting names.
Yeah. But if you are genuinely a nice human being and you are hardworking, everyone gravitates towards someone who wants to deliver, who wants to work. And there's nothing.
So your intentions will speak.
Yes.
As you meet this person.
Yes.
As you shake their hand.
Yes. What you are trying to do and how genuine it is. And I have a rule, like, I don't work with people who are not nice.
Period.
I do not work with people who are not nice. If you are like a vile human being, and we can be in a meeting for the first time and I watch how you treat your staff, and that's the last meeting we're going to have. I don't have to be confrontational about it. Like, that's the last time we're going to meet, and that's cool. You do your thing, I do mine.
Yeah.
And so networking is also important when you also are intentional about being a nice human being.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to want to build with you, But we are also in times where we need to collaborate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's how we're going to...
Even the summers, I think they're going to go with the collaboration more this year than anything.
We need to. Like I love seeing Casper and Likao doing, like, there's no...
Yeah, man, that Drip and Casper
there's no one in between there.
Ooh.
Like an international company saying, oh, I think you guys will be... They both decide.
It's natural. Yeah.
You understand? And people can see it. People are supporting it. And there's so many, collaborations like that are happening because that's the only way we can win.
Now, I'm gonna pick people that obviously are basically above the surface that we see you interact with.
Yeah.
How intentional were you about P. Diddy? How intentional were you about Jay-Z?
Those two stories. A short story.
Yeah.
I hate telling the stories because they sound so wrong. Like this. There's things that I struggle with, man. When I was recording this little voiceovers now with the show, the guy says, please say Grammy Award winner. And I couldn't.
Yeah. No, that's an African in you.
I couldn't. I'm like, I can't, maybe it's still early, to say I'm a Grammy, like, on radio, and it's like...
Yeah, we are never boastful as people.
So I'm like, listen, that's why I'm like, fresh from the Grammys.
Yes, that's much better.
It sounds...
Yeah.
Which, that's also a downfall. Sometimes we are afraid to own up to, the greatness.
To toot our own horn, raise our own flags.
That's why I'm saying I'm scared to sometimes tell this story.
Sure.
But last week, I had a meeting... oh my gosh. I had a meeting in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Let me not say with who.
Yeah.
And I walk at his house. I went to this guy's house. It was 3:00.
Afternoon, morning?
But listen, last week I flew in my son. I planned this whole week with him before the Grammys.
Yeah.
And I told him, I'm like, he sends me a message, Dad, I can't wait for us to get to the Grammys. I'm like, what's more important for me is us.
Yeah.
I saw the Grammys as a destination.
Yeah.
where we're gonna go.
Yeah.
It was more for me like a father-son thing experience.
Yeah.
You know, so I
And
arranged
there's
everything.
a lot of pearls of wisdom there for him to pick up and learn.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Because he started playing and he's serious about DJing. So I wanted him to see and come and
Wonderful.
you know,
Yeah.
first trip to America. You know, we've done Europe before. And
Yeah.
So I've hired a car.
Yeah.
You know, and he lands. I had booked a spa. We went to the spa. We finished. You know, we get into Beverly Hills. We're driving. He's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, so I have this meeting, fast forward, on Friday.
Yeah.
I have this fancy car that I'm driving. I discussed with him. I'm like, do you think I should go to this meeting in this car? He's like, no, Dad, don't take the car. Just Uber.
Yeah.
Which I thought, I mean, youngsters would be like,
Take this car. Yeah.
show up, you know?
Yeah.
And so I said to him, this guy knows me. He's like, I'm an African artist. I don't live here. And then I show up in his house in a Lamborghini. How is it going to look?
Yeah.
You know, what is it saying about me?
Yeah.
You know, am I a flexing guy? Or,
Yeah.
And he saw it. He's like, no, don't, just Uber. So I Ubered. Got there at 3 o'clock. He was in the garden. You know, the guy took me. And to my surprise, Puff was there, finishing a meeting with this guy.
Sure.
I haven't seen him in like a while before pandemic. So we talk, hey man. He's like, when you finish this meeting, come to my house. They live on the same street with this guy.
Oh, okay.
This guy's on 500, Puff's on 200. He's like, okay, cool. I'm like, sharp. We have a meeting with this guy. We finish. Showed me his house. You know, it's amazing art collection.
I'm now curious about the name.
We finish. I'm like, I'm getting Uber again. This is what I didn't want, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, the meeting is done now. I must wait for Uber. You know, he's like, you going to Puff's, right? He's like, yeah, you can walk. It's down the street. I'm like, cool. So I walked to Puff's house. We met up. You know, I didn't stay for long.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a story of faith
Okay.
and Puff.
Oh, yeah.
First met Puff in Ibiza. Was playing a set. I finished. Went to get a drink. When I come back, he was there. It's the first time I met him.
Sure.
And he's like, oh man, I just came to see you. I hear you done playing. And I'm blown away. First time meeting Puff. Fast forward. We're in Miami. Some friends of mine from France were there. They were going to Puff's party. They're like, man, we're going to Puff's party. Do you want to come? Remember I met him?
Yes.
And he missed my set.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to sleep. Because Puff's party started at 6 in the morning.
Yeah. It starts in the morning. Yeah, I heard.
So I'm like, man, I'm going to sleep. They call again. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, actually, I'm coming.
Yeah.
So I go. And I get downstairs. I'm carrying my DJ bag.
Yeah.
They're like, why are you carrying a DJ bag? I'm like, just trust me.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I know that he missed my set.
Yes.
And he told me, I wanted to hear you play. I'm disappointed I didn't hear you play.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to his party. I'm going to carry my music.
Yes.
Am I going to be allowed to play? But I'm going to carry my music.
Yeah.
Will they even let us into his house?
Ooh.
Because there's a long waiting list.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. I will carry my music. We get to the gate. There's a long line. Like, people are name dropping. They're trying to get in. And this guy had said, our name is on the list, and it's not. We're just waiting now at the gate. And one of Puff's guy was like, you. I look around. He's like, yeah. I'm like, me? He's like, yeah, come through. The guys that invited me are like, also shocked, like, you know, and I'm like, guys, come, you know. We go, and he let us in. And he's like, Puff is going to be so happy you're here. Shh. Remember, I have my bag.
Yeah.
And as we walk into the house, he was still seeing Casey at the time. And
Yeah.
Casey sees me. She's like, oh, my gosh. I'm so shocked. I'm like, you don't even know me?
Wow.
You know, like, we get there. Puff was so happy. There was a long list of DJs because everyone wants to play at Puff's party.
Sure.
Pre-arranged. There's a lineup. He took the mic. He's like, Black Coffee is going to play right now.
Whoa.
And so my friends connected the dots like, oh, now we get it. But I knew that I have only one chance. Yeah. I can't go to this guy's house. He told me he's a fan. I will not leave my music behind. I'm taking my music with me. Bro, I think I played for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
The other DJs were waiting. They started leaving. Puff was like on the mic. He was on the roof of his house.
There's a picture of that, yeah. There's a picture on your timeline.
Yeah. That's Puff's story.
Jay-Z?
Jay-Z's story was very random. When they came for Global Citizen, I was doing a song with Asha at the time.
Yes,
we
yes.
booked the
La La
studio
La.
here. Yeah, we booked the studio. He was like, you want to come to Jay Brown's party in Maboneng? I'm like, yeah, cool. We went, and Beyonce was here. Everyone was like, Asha took me to Jay-Z. He was like, oh, this is black coffee. And, you know, Beyonce came, and she blew me away, like in how she complimented, you know, like she just kept saying, you are so talented.
She knew the music.
Yeah, she was like, and then Jay-Z was like, we still have 30 minutes to go, you know, meaning play a song. By the way, I had my music there too.
Oh, well done.
Because
take your people with you, man.
I always take my music with me. Like, I'm ready, you know. And I played one song, basically.
Which one? Do you even know which one to play?
I played Superman, you know.
Come on.
Yeah, I played Superman. Ooh. And fast forward 2-3 months later, I'm home. 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm working on music. I got a text on my phone. It says, yo, what's up? It's Hove. Literally, like, I could text, like...
Whoa!
Yeah. And I don't want to go into details, but...
Yes!
It's like, he was doing a party, and he wanted me to come play, you know, and, you know, we made it happen. I went to LA to play, and we didn't even post about that party, because it's, like, super private.
Yes.
So it wasn't just in intention. I think intention is in my head. It's in who I want to be.
That's right.
You know, what you don't know about that is after we did your gig, you invited me to go to Bloem.
To Bloemfontein, yes.
You know, and I told all my friends, I'm like, guys, Tbose has invited me. We want to drive in his car. Like, I'm so curious. I don't know what car he drives. I want to see where he lives. Like, and then I came to your house. He was staying in Midland at the time.
Yeah.
You know, he did the same thing that guy in Beverly Hills did.
Yeah.
He took me around. There was a bar in your house inside. I had never seen that in my life. I'm like, there's a bar inside. I was calling my friends. I'm like, he has a bar inside his house. And I'd never seen that structure back then. For DJs, you know, DJs are like, we DJs, man, we just play music. I never seen a family structure, like, and it changed my life, you know. And the most amazing thing happened. You won't remember, I'm sure. We got into the car. You had a Lexus SUV.
Yes.
Man, I'm like, wow.
We're driving in this car, baby.
Wow. We got into the car. We drove towards the gate. Your wife was at the door.
Yeah.
And you stopped the car.
Yeah.
She didn't want you to go.
Yeah.
Not negatively.
Sure.
She was just emotional about you going.
Yeah.
And then you stopped the car. You got out. You went to her. You gave her a long hug.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a guy I want to be.
Wow.
So the intention in my head is when I look at people older than me, you know, like a Jay-Z, like a Tbose and a Puff, I align myself. I'm like, this is the kind of a guy I want to be.
Wow.
So with time, it keeps
increasing.
You know,
growing.
Based on my exposure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like Ukumalo, for instance, and we have these conversations, and I look at the type of investments that I've done and the type of the investment that is done. I'm like, okay, I want to get into this space. And I tell him, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a good portfolio in the tech space.
Yeah.
But I want to get into that.
Sure.
Because I watch and want to model. And without losing my identity, you know, who I am.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but intention comes with who I want to be. And then you attract people like like a Puff, you attract people like a Jay-Z, you attract people like Tbose.
And you also attract people like this. Listen to this.
Black Coffee, my brother, man. Congratulations on your well-deserved award. And not just an award, Grammy Award winner. Best Electronic Dance Album. When I first met you 15 years ago, I knew there was something special about you. I'm so proud of your achievements, and I know it came at a price, being away from your family, your kids. Your work ethic, persistence, and vision is unmatched. I remember when you first started touring Europe and the USA out of your own pocket because you had a vision, a dream. I'm so proud of you, man. You made us all proud. God bless you.
That's DJ Christos right there.
Right. That's like the godfather, you know, not just in music. I've never experienced someone who was so selfless.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Christos is selfless.
Like
my
in
gosh.
the beginning of my career, and when I became exposed to him, and he, like, it's not a lie. Like, he used to say, "Man, you have something," you know, because we met Chris as a group. So
Shana.
It's always been a thing for me where I'm like, I don't want to expose the Black Coffee thing
as yet.
Yeah. So just let's work as a group. And over time, the more I was working, I started giving him songs to play, and which were totally different from what we were doing. And then he started taking me to his gigs, and we were playing CDs, and we would carry pouches.
Yes.
Chris would, every time he makes a bag for himself with CDs, he will make a bag for me.
Wow.
Like literally, and handwritten, you know, and written my name. Like, this is your pouch. We're going for a gig. Here's 20 CDs to play of new music. I've never seen anything like that. I've never done anything for anyone like that myself.
No, what are you talking about?
You know?
That's another interview of the stuff you've done. So please. Coffee, all I wanted to do today was to give us a masterclass on what intention is and what it means to be surrounded by people who not necessarily agree with you.
Yeah.
Strong people, because that's how you keep your iron sharpened. And hence today we are able to see a Grammy in the studio. We're able to see a Grammy in this country from a man we know.
Yes,
right. So God bless you, man.
Thank you, my brother.
And thank you for teaching us and showing us it is possible.
Thank you, sir.
Keep shining, man.
Truly appreciate it. Thank you.